Modest Buzelis plays well for the Chicago Bulls, but they take a tough loss to the Golden State Warriors. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from tonight's loss. This is your host, Rico Greenhowe, and you have found yourself on another episode of Bulls Digest. And so today, we are breaking down this most recent loss to the Golden State Warriors. And I must say that, man, this was an ugly loss. And so before we go ahead and jump into today's game, wanted to remind you that about 65.3% of you that watch are not subscribed to the channel. So make sure that you go ahead and you slam dunk on that subscribe button as we are trying to reach our end of the season subscriber count. And so let's go ahead now and jump into the content for today. And so, yes, the Chicago Bulls get beat by the Golden State Warriors 132-111. And man, what a turnaround in this game, because the Chicago Bulls were all over the Golden State Warriors, I think by as many as 20. But then it was a massive third quarter by the Golden State Warriors. You had Steph Curry. He really woke up in that one. And then also, too, Jimmy Butler did Jimmy Butler type of things. And, man, the Golden State Warriors really turned it on against the Chicago Bulls and just handed it to them. And I think from the Chicago Bulls standpoint, man, there were adjustments that were missed. Definitely you see that from a roster situation, man, the Chicago Bulls really have more questions than answers. And so let's go ahead, jump into the box score now and take a look at some of the key takeaways from tonight's game. And so let's start with, I think, the MVP of the night, in my opinion, and it has to start with Modest Buzelis. I think that he was absolutely an MVP for me because it was his first start at home for the Chicago Bulls, and I don't care that he didn't go 10 of 10 tonight because he did a lot of great things out there. He had 16 points. He hit a three-point shot over Jimmy Butler. He also had, I think, a dunk over Jimmy Butler as well. And you just see that Modest Buzelis, man, continues to show exactly why we have been excited with him since day one, since he has put on a Chicago Bulls uniform, because he just shows that he has so much upside. And what I loved about his game today, he didn't just stand in the corner just shooting three-point shots. He's getting to the basket. He's getting dunks. He's getting layups. He's getting to the free throw line a lot over these last couple games since Billy Donovan is finally playing him. And, man, the upside is there. Loved it. And on top of the points, he gave us 4 rebounds. He gave us 5 assists in this one. He gave us a steal, and he gave us a block. I know he was negative 18, but he was still 6 of 10 from the field. But what I love most about Modest Buzelis is just his willingness to compete out there and really learn from his mistakes. And so loved what he did. I have to give him an MVP. Next up, I would say the next MVP for me tonight was Coby White. I think that Coby White did a terrific job as far as scoring the basketball. He got to the free throw line. You love that. And, man, he was shooting the basketball with confidence. In fact, he hit a logo, and I mean a logo three-point shot. I'm pretty sure he shot the thing from the United Center logo and nothing but net. Like Coby White, he looked like the Coby White that we love, where he was almost the most improved player of the year last season. And so, look, I know he finished with a negative 27 tonight, but still, I thought he had a great night offensively. He had 4 assists. He had 4 rebounds here. So he was my second MVP of the night. And then I would say my third MVP here was Jalen Smith. I thought that Jalen Smith was terrific off the bench. He really had it on a heater out there. He had 15 points in this one, only 3 rebounds, but he was +6, but 5 of 7 from the field and 4 of 5 from deep. And I talked about this before with Jalen Smith, and I know, like, if you just see him during the timeout, he's wearing the knee wrap and stuff like that because we know he'd been going through some knee issues. But I just think that Jalen Smith needs to get some more minutes out there. And I really want to see, can he possibly be a starting center for the Chicago Bulls? Because it's games like this where you really feel like he can. And I think that this was a game, definitely he had a great game. And so now let's go ahead and jump into really the rest of the box score and some of the key takeaways from that. So let's start with Josh Giddey. So Josh Giddey, 11 points, 6 rebounds. He had 4 assists. He had 1 steal. He had 3 blocks. He was negative 22 today. just 3 of 11 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3. And I think really the physicality of Golden State's defense, I think really threw Josh Giddey off today. I mean, he ran into some good defense out there. And I will say this as well. There were definitely some fouls that should have been called on the Golden State Warriors. That is something that our broadcast team talked about as well. But yes, I think that he struggled there, but still did get some, a good amount of stats there on the stat sheet. And so doing his best he could there. Next up, looking at Vooch. And so Vooch, clearly to me, I think that Vooch has been, I think on the down lately here. And I'm wondering about Vooch. I'm wondering about the fact, is he engaged? And I'm wondering about the fact, what are our players going to do? Because once again, there are times where Vooch is in the post with the mismatch and we are not getting him the basketball. And so, look, he had 10 points, he had 4 rebounds, he had 2 assists. And he also had a steal in this one as well, or a couple steals and an assist, negative 27. But I just think that Vooch, man, it looks like, just between the trade deadline stuff and just the fact that we are not getting him involved in the offense, like it just seems like Vooch has been out of it the last couple games, and I wonder, is he going to return back? Next up, looking at Ayo, and so I think Ayo, 10 points, 4 assists, 1 rebound, 1 steal, negative 13. I think he had a really tough time kind of guarding today, especially against Steph Curry. He gave up a 4-point play, and so he really struggled tonight, so that was tough to see. And then when we come down to the bench, let's start with just Patrick Williams. And so Patrick Williams, again, we see where he had been playing well. He struggled in this one. He was throwing up some air balls. He had some turnovers in this. And he only had 2 rebounds. And he played 20 minutes. That's just not good enough from Patrick Williams. You wanted to see him hit the board some more. He had 8 points in this one, negative 8, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from downtown. And so just another one of those games, I think, with Patrick Williams. And then when we look at some of the players that we got via the Zach Lavine trade, I think that this is where it starts to get head-scratching for me, and something we'll reflect on at the end of the video. But, with Kevin Huerter, with Tre Mann, they played some significant minutes tonight. 18 minutes for Tre Mann. You had 19 from Kevin Huerter. And I must say that, Kevin Huerter, he did knock down a shot, but you could tell he really struggled out there. You could tell that there wasn't any kind of actions really ran for him. And, it was tough. Like, it was really tough, a tough night for him. He did have 4 rebounds. He had an assist as well, but, he just never looked comfortable. And as far as Tre Mann is concerned, look, he had a tough night trying to guard. I think on the other end, trying to pick up Steph Curry, but really everybody struggles trying to guard him. But he struggled there, and he also struggled, I think, trying to get to his spots offensively and just really try to find, what he was supposed to do on the offensive end. And so just the adjustments, I think, for Billy Donovan, those should have been made. I didn't see that tonight for those new players coming into the roster and just trying to figure out what to do there. And so that was unfortunate and tough to see. And then when we look at the fact that we did not see, Zack Collins out there, here's a player that they talked about with the physicality that he brings, and he's also going to give you some size. And I don't understand why he didn't get a minute in this game. And then when you look at the players that we definitely want to still see evaluated, Dalen, Terry, Julian, Phillips both only played 4 minutes. And they actually outscored Tre Mann and also Kevin Huerter, who got significant minutes. And I don't even think that they're necessarily a part of your future plans. And I'm talking about Kevin Huerter and Tre Mann, but I don't know. I'm not in the front office, but I'm just saying it just seems that way. And so, look, that right there was very confusing. That's why I said that the rotations tonight were just head-scratching for me. And so now let's just go ahead and jump into the team box score and some of the key takeaways from that. So starting with these key takeaways, I think that the first thing that we see here is that the Golden State Warriors out-rebounded the Chicago Bulls 44-31. I think Kayvon Looney, Quentin Post, they did a terrific job as far as getting rebounds out there. 17-15, the Bulls in turnovers. And so not good. We have had higher turnover rates, but still that's not good to have the 17 on tonight. Then the 25-6 in fast breaks. The Bulls Bulls did a terrific job as far as getting out. I think that is part of the reason why they were on top of the Golden State Warriors early, but then that stopped later in the game. Next up, points in the paint. The Warriors were able to get points in the paint. I think that they did a terrific job as far as getting Jimmy Butler, down on the block, things like that. He was getting to the free throw line, and so they did a good job scoring in the paint tonight. 8-8 as far as the activity on the steals, 7-4 as far as the Warriors and block shots. I really think that they turned up the defensive effort in the third quarter with the block shots. We had 24 assists to 35 field goal makes. Our percentage today, 44.3% from the field, 43.6% from three. Golden State, 50% from the field and 39.6% from three. And so, look, let me know what your key takeaways are from tonight's game, because I just think before I jump out of here, just to go into it once more, I just think that when we look at what was said with AK and just talking about how, they were looking to evaluate the team over these next 30 games. Look, this was not a good start in my opinion, because you had some players that I think that have, when you say Billy Donovan was talking about earning minutes, has Dalen, Terry, and Julian Phillips not earned the minutes? And then they got skipped over today. And when you weren't getting anything from these players like Kevin Huerter and Trey Mann, I don't understand why you don't go and put Dalen, Terry, and Julian Phillips in the game, who have been known to give you energy and also to give you some defensive hustle as well. And both of them, like I said, outscore both of those players. Then when you talk about the size, I just said you got out-rebounded. Why do we not see Zack Collins in the game? Why are we not seeing more lineups that have more size in the game? I just don't understand that. And then there was a time where Coby White was hot in the game. He got taken out for an extended amount of time. There was one play, I think, towards the end of the third quarter. I want to say it turned into a kickball situation. Modest Buzelis comes out, and I'm not sure anybody caught it, but Billy Donovan was not pleased with Modest Buzelis, and he sat for some time. And so I just didn't quite understand what we did with the rotations. I'm not sure if we got any closer to really evaluating talent. And I mean, the Bulls have got to get better down the stretch, because the offseason is going to come quickly, just like the trade deadline did. And the Bulls have to have a plan. They really need to understand what you want to do, because one of the players that was mentioned in these trade talks was Coby White. He had 27 big points today. He shows you that he can score the basketball, and he looked more and more like the most improved player that we saw a year ago. And so if you're going to be moving on from him, you better know exactly what you want to keep on this roster and how you're going to draft accordingly, and what free agents or whatever that you're bringing in as well. And so, again, just I think bad adjustments, and also, too, we need to see more from an evaluation standpoint. So let me know in the comments what you were thinking from this loss against the Golden State Warriors. And just want to remind you to go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that like button, as we are trying to reach our subscriber goal by the end of the NBA season out there. And look, the Bulls seriously have got to come up with a plan for better evaluating players. They need to figure out what that direction is going to be with this roster, because the offseason is coming up closely. And these games, look, they are getting ready to stack back on top of each other here next week. We have back-to-back situations with the Detroit Pistons, who have been playing some good basketball. So these Bulls have got to figure something out here very quickly. And so, as we always say, go Bulls, and I will see you on the next one. All right, peace.